So good morning everybody, welcome for our lesson today. This is social study. The other time we looked at the factors influencing climate in Africa. We defined what is climate. We say that climate is an average weather condition of a place for a long period of time. Then we said that we can carry out investigation, or we can carry out a measurement of the rainfall in millimeters per year, temperature in degrees, and then we can conclude the kind of temperature in this place. So that's what we say is climate. Then we say that we have factors that influence climate of a place. We talked about relief. And then we say that relief, when we talk about relief, then we are looking at the physical landform. We are talking about the valleys and the hills. That is what we call relief. For example, we looked at this, and then we say this is a sea. Then here we have what you call orographic rainfall or relief rainfall. So this one is called orographic or relief rainfall. So we say that the mountain or this relief feature affects the climate of a place. For example, in this side, the leeward side, the windward side of the mountain receives a lot of rainfall. Why? Because there is a lot of water vapor from the sea rising. When the water vapor rises from the sea, it is warm, it is moist. When it comes near here, then it is pushed towards the relief feature. So it condenses to come back as rainfall. So we say this area is cool and wet because of the high rainfall. Then we say we can carry out farming activities and so on. The other side, we say the wind here, it is cool and dry. The wind is cool and dry. So it means this area has no rainfall. Why? Because this wind is very cool and it has no moisture. So the best economic activity we can carry out here is pastoralism. And a very good example in this town, in this leeward side, is Nanyuki, on the leeward side of Mount Kenya. So Nanyuki is one of it. Then here you will find towns like Kiambu, we have Murang'a, we have Meru, we have Nyeri, then we have Embu. So these are, that one is just a review of what we did. We said also another factor was wind, that wind blowing from the sea to the land, they are called onshore winds. This wind, they have a lot of moisture, so when they reach to adjacent land, they condense and then they form clouds to come back as rainfall. Then we say we have the winds that blow from the land to the sea. This one we call them offshore winds. Offshore winds, when they blow towards the sea, then it means they have no moisture. They cause a lot of dry condition. A very good example is Harmattan wind in the North Africa. That's why most of the parts of Africa or North Africa, they are very dry, desert and semi-desert, because of the Harmattan wind, which is very dry in nature and it has no moisture. We also say that when you look at the Horn of Africa here, Somalia is here, Horn of Africa. So we have the wind originating from this place. It's called northeast trade winds. Northeast trade winds is very dry. Why? Because it travels for a long distance all the way from Asia. Asia continent is just here. So Asia is a dry land. So this wind is dry in nature and it causes dry condition to around the Horn of Africa, Somalia, Djibouti, and so on, and even the part of northeastern Kenya, Mandera, Wajir, and then Garissa. It's because this wind originates from a dry land. This is Asian land. It also travels for a long distance towards the land of Africa. So those are a wind, how the wind affects climate. Another factor we want to look at today is latitude. Latitude is also another factor that affects climate of a place. If I may draw the sketch of map of Africa, so I will just sketch on like this. This is just a sketch of Africa, the map of Africa. So here, in this north, we have what we call Tropic of Cancer. This is one of the latitudes. Then here we have this one is called equator. Equator is the major latitude in Africa. And then here we have what we call a Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. This one is marked 23.5 degrees north. Then this one is marked 0 degrees. And then this one is marked 23.5 degrees south. So these are the meta latitudes that passes through Africa, and they affect climate of a place. Now what do we mean? Places near the equator, places that are near the equator, they receive warm condition because we have two overhead sun here 2 times. So when you come here in the month of March and September, the sun is overhead here, overhead sun. It is here, overhead. So it is very warm along the equator line here. So that's why you are saying the places near the equator, they are very warm. They experience high temperature because there is high temperatures because of overhead sun. Then when you come to the month of December here, December, the sun is overhead here in the month of December, that is 22nd December. Then here we have 21st June, like that. So the way you move far away from the tropics or the equator, the way it becomes cool. That's why we say that in Africa, these places that are far away from the equator here, this one, they experience winter and summer. Winter is a cold season, then summer is a hot season because of the overhead sun here. So that's why you're saying that now most of the African land lies within the tropics. This one, it lies within the tropics. So that's why it experiences a lot of high temperatures throughout the year because of the sun overhead on the equator. Then we have said the areas above or away from the equator, they experience cold season called the winter. So winter is experienced in this region called Mediterranean region, upper here around Morocco, Bangladesh and so on. Then the Cape Town province of South Africa here also because the equator passes in South Africa. So that's what you're talking about. So that is how latitude affect climate of a place. Places near equator, high temperatures because of overhead sun. Another one is ocean currents. I will still sketch this map. Ocean currents. So here we have what we call Canary Ocean current. Canary Ocean currents. Then here we have what we call what we call a Kulhas. A Kulhas or Mozambique. Mozambique. Sorry. This is Benguela. Benguela is here. Benguela Ocean current. Then here we have what we call Somali. Somali warm ocean current. This is cold, Canary cold current. Then this one is also cold. And then we have warm Mozambique current is here. Warm Mozambique. Like that. So so what we are saying is this. These are a warm current. So what is a current? Current is horizontal movement of water, horizontal movement of water in the ocean, horizontal. When you talk about horizontal, then you can look at these lines. So when you look at this is a vertical line, then this is horizontal. So the horizontal movement of water in the sea, that is what we call an ocean current. Then we have two types of currents. We have cold current, then we have warm current, warm and cold. So this one is a cold current here. They affect climate of a place. Now this is what happens. This is what happens with the currents. When the wind blows across a cold current from the ocean, the wind is cooled. It does not pick any moisture. Does not pick moisture. It does not pick any moisture from the sea. And when it reaches to the adjacent land, it causes what we call fog and a mist, or warm condition. When the wind blows across cold current, it is cooled. It does not pick any moisture. When it reaches to the adjacent land, I mean when the wind blows across this ocean current here, so it is cooled. When it reaches here, it causes dry condition, or a mist, or a fog. Fog or a mist. Fog, if you have ever woken up in the morning, then you see white smoke. That's what you call fog. When you go to Nairobi, you can see that, or highland areas, you can see that. So that's what you're talking about. So the wind blowing across Benguela Ocean current, it is cooled, it does not pick any moisture. When it reaches the adjacent land, it causes dry condition. So a very good example of this dry condition is this one. This one is called Namib, a Namib Desert. So the main factor that has contributed to the formation of this Namib Desert is this ocean current here. So that's the effect of this Benguela Ocean current to the adjacent land here. It has resulted to warm condition to forming of this Namib Desert in this area here. So remember that. And when the wind blows across a warm current like this one, it causes a lot of rainfall. It picks moisture. Then when it reaches the adjacent land, it picks a lot of moisture. That's why we have a lot of rainfall along the Eastern Africa coast and so on, and even along the Mozambique coast here, because of Mozambique warm current, or Akulo has warm current here. So remember that. But remember, the warm condition here has resulted by Benguela Ocean current. So that is how ocean currents affect climate of a place. Another one that affect climate of a place Another factor that affects climate of a place is shape of the coastline. Shape of the coastline affects the climate of a place. How? So a very good example, I will draw this. Let me draw. Let me draw something here. So this is the Ghana. This is a country called Ghana. Then here we have two towns. So we have one town here. We have one town here. This town is called Axim. Then there is also another town here called Agra. Agra is here. So we want to look at how the shape of the coastline affect the climate of a place. So we have two types of shape of the coastline. We have what we call regular shape, regular. Then we have what we call irregular. So we have irregular and regular. Irregular shape of the coastline and regular. Now, regular shape of the coastline affects the climate of a place like this. When the wind is blowing along the regular shape of the coastline like this one, like if you see this is somehow straight like this. If you see the shape of Somalia here, it also somehow straight like this, shape of the coast of Somalia. Somalia, the coastline is somehow straight like that. So when the wind blows here in Ghana, there is a town called Axim. Though the shape of the coastline around Axim, it is irregular in shape. So when the wind blows, it blows direct to the coastline like this, direct. But when it comes to Ghana, it blows parallel. Parallel means it blows miss. It goes away. It does not blow direct to the coastline. So this is what we mean. You can see my arrows. So this is what we call regular coastline. Around Ghana, the coastline is regular. So when the wind blows, it blows parallel. It blows miss. So at the end of the day, there will be much low rainfall here. Like example, here the area receives around 788 millimeters per year. But when to Axim, you will find that it receives a lot of rain. That is 288 millimeters per year. So you can see how the shape of the coastline have affected this place. So in other words, we are saying this. Axim receives a lot of rainfall than Agra because of the shape of the coastline. It is irregular in shape, irregular. Axim, irregular. Then when you're talking about Ghana, the shape, Agra, the shape of the coastline is regular. That is why this one receives little rainfall and so on. So remember that. So that's how the shape of the coastline affects climate. Irregular shape coastline receives a lot of rainfall. Regular receives low rainfall because the wind blows parallel. A very good example is also Somalia. When you look at the coast of Somalia here, this is the Horn of Africa, this is Africa. The shape of Somalia coastline is somehow parallel or straight or regular in shape. So when the wind blows, most of the time it blows parallel, like that. So Somalia receives little rainfall despite the fact that it borders a water body, ocean, but it has very low rainfall, warm condition. Why? Because of the shape of the coastline. It is irregular in shape, so the wind blows parallel to the coastline. So that is also very important that you should also understand. And then last factor that affect the climate of a place is distance from the sea. Distance from the sea. What do we mean? Areas near the coastline or large water bodies, they receive a lot of convectional rainfall. So we can say areas near large water bodies receive a lot of convectional rain. Areas near the large water bodies, they receive a lot of convectional rainfall because of the evaporation from the sea. Like if you go to Mombasa, Lamu and Malindi, Dar es Salaam, they receive a lot of convectional rainfall because there is a warming of the water bodies, then there is a rising of the water vapors that have moisture. So those moisture condense, then they come back as a convectional rainfall. So a very good example, formation of a convectional rainfall. So this is a convectional rainfall. It's something like this. So this is the land, then this is the sea. We have the sea here, sea, or ocean, like this. Then here we have what? Vapor. So this is vapor. Vapor. Vapor is that moisture after the water been heated, then it rises, so it condenses to form clouds. This cloud comes back as rainfall. This is called convectional rainfall. Convectional rainfall is received in near the large water bodies like lakes, seas, and so on. A very good example is Lamu, we have Malindi, we have Kwale, Kilifi, and so on. Then Mombasa, Dar es Salaam, and so on. Kisumu, because of the Lake Victoria, Bukoba, then also Entebbe, Uganda, and so on. So thank you for watching. We shall continue next time.